I'll be the first to admit that critics can come up with plenty of good questions and arguments. But this is not one of them. I don't think that it's that unreasonable for secularists to look at the marketplace of worldviews as kind of like a ideological dartboard, and wherever you land is sort of a matter of chance. I get that. But what I think is unreasonable is for them to think of themselves as the bullseye. I want to say that it was Ricky Gervais that said something like, there have been 3,000 gods in human history, but only yours is the one that's real. The rest are just fictitious. Now this could mean one of two things. One, no gods exist, therefore your God doesn't exist. Which isn't really an argument. You can't assume that God doesn't exist and then use that as a reason for why God doesn't exist. That's called circular reasoning. Or the second option, which is that the marketplace of worldviews is essentially a game of chance, and the probability of yours being true is 3,000 to 1. It's poking fun at the self-righteousness of religious people that are claiming that they have the truth even though there are all these other ideas in the marketplace of worldviews. There are all these other gods, all these other beliefs. I assume version number 2, out of respect for the intellectual integrity of atheists. I call this the dartboard method because in the mind of a secularist, the chances of you ending up in a particular religion is highly based on geography or cultural values, like where you grew up. The idea is kind of funny to think about, that like in the mind of an atheist, they see somebody that throws a dart at a dartboard, lands on like a 2 on the outside rim of a dartboard, and then celebrates that he won the game. Unfortunately, if you're postulating the secular worldview, we don't actually know what's at the bullseye. The very idea that a religious person would throw a dart and land on a 2 is itself a false paradigm that's set up by secularists, because we don't know what the bullseye actually is. I don't think that it's the best method to bring probability into it and then use that as a mechanism to assess truth, especially if you're not including your own worldview in that probability mechanism. Instead, I think we should be engaging with each individual worldview on its own terms, according to its own content. It might make sense that an atheist thinks this way, but that doesn't mean that the argument itself makes sense. So that's it for this video. Thanks so much for arguing with me, and I'll see you on the next one.